Ethan never imagined that his life would change so drastically in a single day. He had always thought of himself as a normal young man, living a quiet life on Earth, working at a modest tech company, and spending weekends reading or hiking. Life was simple, predictable, and comfortable. But that morning, a letter arrived that would throw his world into chaos. The envelope was thick and official, stamped with an unfamiliar insignia and addressed to him in bold letters. With a mixture of curiosity and unease, Ethan tore it open. Inside was a letter from a law firm he had never heard of, declaring that his wealthy uncle, a man he barely knew, had passed away. More astonishingly, Ethan had inherited his uncle's entire fortune. There were properties across several countries, stocks, rare artifacts, and even a private estate in orbit around the planet Elara, a station in a distant solar system. Ethan blinked, reading and rereading the words. "This must be a mistake," he murmured. But there was no sender to question, only the contact information of the law firm handling his uncle's affairs. The letter instructed him to arrive at the estate immediately if he wished to claim his inheritance. The journey to Elara Station was unlike anything Ethan had experienced. He boarded a sleek spacecraft, its hull polished to a reflective shine, and watched Earth recede into the distance. Stars stretched across the black void like diamonds scattered across velvet. As the station came into view, a massive structure hovering in space, he felt a mixture of awe and fear. This was no ordinary inheritance. Ethan was greeted at the airlock by an automated assistant, a hovering sphere that guided him inside. The station was breathtaking. Corridors lined with shimmering panels, gardens that floated in zero gravity, and technology that seemed centuries ahead of anything on Earth. But what caught Ethan's attention immediately were the two figures waiting in the main atrium. They were unlike anything he had ever seen. One was tall and graceful, with smooth, pale blue skin and eyes that glowed faintly like soft lanterns. Her hair floated as if underwater, and her movements were fluid, almost hypnotic. The other was shorter, with a vibrant green complexion, delicate wings folded neatly against her back, and eyes that shimmered like emeralds. Both stared at him with curiosity and intelligence, their expressions calm but alert. Ethan froze, unsure how to react. Hello," he said cautiously. The taller one stepped forward, her voice melodic but firm. "You must be Ethan. We have been told you are now responsible for us." "Responsible for you?" Ethan asked, his mind spinning. "I don't understand." The shorter one smiled gently. "Your uncle left us in your care. We are companions of a sort. You are to live with us, guide us, and protect us." Ethan's head swiveled as he tried to process the words. Companions, guide, protect. He had expected money, maybe some property, but certainly not aliens. He took a step back. I think there's been a mistake. I can't." The taller one tilted her head, observing him carefully. "There is no mistake. Your uncle trusted you to take care of us. You have inherited more than material wealth, Ethan. You have inherited responsibility." Responsibility. The word hung in the air like a weight. Ethan had never imagined that such a word could carry so much meaning, and yet here it was, tied to creatures from worlds he had only read about in science fiction. The estate's caretaker, a small robot named Calyx, floated over. "Master Ethan," it said in a polite tone, "if you are willing, I can begin the orientation. There are security protocols, cultural briefings, and estate management tasks that require your immediate attention." Ethan swallowed hard. His life had gone from ordinary to extraordinary in less than a day. Okay, he said, trying to steady his voice. "I guess I have to do this." The next hours were a blur. Calyx guided Ethan through the estate, explaining its features and technologies. There were gardens that grew in midair, artificial weather systems, and libraries containing knowledge from countless worlds. But all the while, the two alien companions, named Lyria and Zephyra, watched him closely, learning, analyzing and occasionally whispering to each other in languages he did not understand. Despite his initial fear, Ethan found himself curious. Lyria, with her calm demeanor, seemed fascinated by human logic and decision-making. Zephyra, more playful and energetic, asked endless questions about human culture, humor, and daily habits. At first, Ethan fumbled, unsure how to answer, but gradually he realized that they were not just companions. They were intelligent beings capable of understanding and learning. The real challenge came when the estate's security system detected unauthorized access. A small fleet of ships had approached Elara Station, moving with precision and intent. Calyx sounded an alarm. Intruders detected. Their objective is unknown, but they appear hostile. Ethan's heart pounded. He had read about interstellar conflicts in books, but he never imagined he would face one. "What do we do?" he asked, panic rising. Lyria's voice was calm, almost soothing. "We can protect ourselves, but we need your input. Your uncle believed in human ingenuity. We must work together." Ethan took a deep breath. He had no experience with advanced security systems, alien technology, or space combat, but he did have a mind trained to think creatively and solve problems. He quickly assessed the station's defenses, using Calyx to analyze vulnerabilities in the approaching fleet's formation. "We can use the environmental shields and reroute energy to the outer turrets," he said, more to himself than anyone else. "It's risky, but it might give us an advantage," Lyria nodded. "Proceed." Zephyra hovered beside Ethan, offering suggestions based on her knowledge of interstellar navigation and alien tactics. Together, the three formed a team, a blend of human intuition and alien skill. The intruders attempted to breach the station's perimeter, but Ethan's quick thinking turned their own momentum against them. The shields deflected energy blasts, forcing the enemy ships into awkward maneuvers. Lyria used her advanced sensors to anticipate their movements, while Zephyra disrupted their targeting systems with a precise energy pulse. After tense minutes that felt like hours, the intruders retreated, realizing the station was not an easy target. Ethan exhaled, his body trembling from adrenaline. We did it," he said, astonished. Lyria smiled softly. "You have proven yourself capable, Ethan. Your ingenuity saved us." Zephyra fluttered around him excitedly. "I knew humans were clever, but wow." Ethan laughed nervously, still trying to calm his racing heart. "I didn't do it alone. All of us did it together." As the immediate threat passed, Ethan realized the depth of what his uncle had entrusted to him. This inheritance was not about wealth or luxury. It was about responsibility, collaboration, and trust. He had been given an opportunity to bridge worlds, to learn from beings far beyond Earth, and to prove that humans, though ordinary in appearance, could rise to extraordinary challenges. Over the following days, Ethan began to adapt to his new life. He learned the nuances of alien culture, the subtleties of their communication, and the unique abilities they brought into his world. Lyria taught him to see the world with patience and perception, noticing patterns he had never considered. Zephyra challenged him to think creatively, to embrace unpredictability and playfulness as tools for problem-solving. Ethan also explored the estate further, discovering hidden libraries, advanced laboratories, and archives filled with knowledge from civilizations scattered across galaxies. Each room was a treasure trove, offering both practical skills and profound insights into the universe. He realized that his uncle's fortune was far more than material wealth. It was a legacy of learning, growth, and connection. Despite the excitement, Ethan often felt moments of doubt. Could he truly live up to the responsibility his uncle had placed on him? Could a human, raised on a single planet with simple experiences, manage beings of such complexity and power? Each time he questioned himself, Lyria and Zephyra offered gentle encouragement, reminding him that intelligence, empathy, and courage were human strengths. One evening, as Ethan watched the stars from the station's observation deck, he felt a sense of purpose he had never known. Earth had been his home, but this station, these companions, and the challenges ahead had become the center of his world. He understood that wealth was not measured in credits or property, but in relationships, knowledge, and the ability to rise to challenges. When the first week on Elara Station came to an end, Ethan was no longer the man who had arrived timidly, unsure of his inheritance. He was a leader, a learner, and a protector. The aliens no longer saw him as inexperienced. They saw him as a capable partner, someone who could navigate both human and interstellar complexities. Yet, Ethan knew this was only the beginning. The universe was vast, and threats, both known and unknown, would test him further. But he also knew that he was no longer alone. Together with Lyria and Zephyra, he had the intelligence, courage, and creativity to face whatever came next. Humanity, he realized, had a way of surprising even the most advanced civilizations. And for the first time in his life, Ethan felt ready to embrace it. Ethan woke to the soft hum of the station's energy fields. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly, calm and serene, but he knew calm in space was always temporary. A week had passed since the first intruder attack, and during that time, he had learned much about Lyria and Zephyra, his alien companions. Their abilities were extraordinary, yes, but what impressed him most was their willingness to learn and adapt. Humanity, he realized, was not as limited as some advanced civilizations might assume. Calyx, the floating robotic caretaker, approached with a polite bow. "Master Ethan, there has been a signal detected from a nearby star system. Its pattern suggests intelligence, but the transmission is unusual. Shall I investigate?" Ethan rubbed his eyes, still half asleep. "Yes, let's find out who or what is out there." Lyria floated to his side, her eyes glowing faintly in thought. "We should be cautious. Last time the intruders underestimated you. They may have allies." Zephyra hovered closer, wings fluttering in excitement. "Or maybe it's someone who wants to meet us peacefully." "I hope it's friendly." Ethan smiled faintly. He had learned quickly that in interstellar affairs, hope had to be balanced with strategy. "Calyx, run an analysis of the signal and trace its origin. Let's see what we're dealing with before we respond." As the robot processed the signal, Ethan thought about the past week. He had already begun to organize the estate, learning its systems, understanding alien technology, and creating security protocols. But he knew the universe would not wait for him to feel ready. Challenges would come, and he had to be prepared. Calyx's voice interrupted his thoughts. "Signal originates from the Raxar system, approximately 12 light-years from Elara Station. The transmission is a formal request for dialogue, but the encryption is unusual. They appear to want to test your intentions." Ethan straightened. "Dialogue, testing intentions, sounds diplomatic or a trap." Lyria's voice was calm but pointed. "Either way, this is an opportunity. We can learn more about other civilizations and perhaps expand your uncle's network of allies." Zephyra bounced lightly in the air. "Or make friends, I like friends." Ethan chuckled despite the tension. "All right, prepare a response. We'll keep it cautious, but we'll respond." Hours later, a sleek vessel appeared at the edge of the station's orbit. It was unlike anything Ethan had seen, its hull shimmering with iridescent colors, constantly shifting like liquid light. Through the communication array, a being appeared, tall and elegant, with translucent skin and eyes that seemed to hold the light of distant stars. "Greetings," the alien said in perfect common. "I am Surith of the Raxar Council. We have observed your inheritance and your companions. We wish to understand your intentions before deciding if further contact is safe." Ethan swallowed, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. "I am Ethan, heir to my uncle's estate. My intentions are simple. I wish to learn, to protect my companions, and to cooperate peacefully with other civilizations." Surith's eyes studied him. Words are easy, but actions reveal truth. We will observe your actions over the next cycle. If you prove yourself capable of cooperation, we may offer assistance. The transmission ended, leaving Ethan to process what had just occurred. Lyria floated silently beside him. This is a test. You must demonstrate that humans can be trusted, that ingenuity and morality can coexist. Zephyra clapped her hands, or what passed for hands. A challenge? I like challenges. Let's do it. Over the next days, Ethan worked tirelessly to prepare. He upgraded the station's defenses, studied the Raxar technology as best he could, and coordinated with Lyria and Zephyra to simulate potential threats. They practiced navigation maneuvers, energy distribution protocols, and communication strategies. Each exercise pushed Ethan further, forcing him to think not only as a human, but as a strategist in a galaxy far more complex than Earth had ever been. One evening, as Ethan reviewed the station's orbital mapping system, alarms blared. An unknown fleet had entered the vicinity of Elara Station. This was no simple scouting party. The ships were sleek, heavily armed, and organized with precision. Ethan's heart raced. Calyx scanned their ships. Are they hostile? Analyzing, Calyx responded. They match known mercenary fleets from the Valerian sector. Their intentions appear aggressive. Lyria's expression hardened. We must act quickly. I can use my sensor abilities to predict their attack patterns, but we will need your decision-making to implement countermeasures. Zephyra hovered near Ethan, excitement and tension mingling in her voice. Let us show them what humans can do. Come on, Ethan. Ethan took a deep breath. All right, let's protect the station, and let's do it smartly, not with brute force, but with strategy. He directed Calyx to reroute energy to the outer turrets while activating the station's camouflage systems. Lyria used her advanced sensors to track enemy movements, providing real-time guidance. Zephyra created diversions by emitting controlled energy pulses, confusing the mercenary fleet. The battle was tense and intricate. Ethan realized that humans had an advantage others often overlooked: unpredictability. While the mercenaries relied on conventional tactics, Ethan used improvisation, leveraging the station's environment and coordinating with his companions in ways the enemy could not anticipate. After hours of careful maneuvering, the enemy fleet was forced to retreat, unable to breach the station's defenses. Ethan sank into a chair, exhausted but exhilarated. Lyria and Zephyra floated beside him, their expressions filled with admiration. You did it, Lyria said softly. Your decisions, your creativity, it saved the station and us. Zephyra grinned. I knew humans were clever, but you really proved it. Ethan smiled, feeling a warmth he had never known. This was more than inheritance or wealth. This was proof that humans could rise to challenges, even in a universe full of advanced civilizations. In the following weeks, the Raxar Council monitored Ethan closely. They observed his methods, his collaboration with Lyria and Zephyra, and his ability to make ethical, strategic decisions. Gradually, their transmissions became less formal, more curious, and even encouraging. They recognized humanity not as a threat, but as a species capable of ingenuity, empathy, and resilience. Ethan also began to explore his uncle's estate more deeply. Hidden rooms contained archives of interstellar history, technology far beyond Earth's understanding, and artifacts that reflected the lives of countless civilizations. Each discovery reinforced the realization that wealth was not merely material. It was knowledge, responsibility, and the ability to influence the future positively. One afternoon, while walking through the zero-gravity gardens with Zephyra, Ethan reflected aloud. I never imagined my life would be like this. 2 aliens and a state in orbit, interstellar politics. It's overwhelming sometimes. Zephyra laughed, wings fluttering. Overwhelming can be fun. You're learning so much, and look at what you've done already. You've protected us, saved the station, and impressed the Raxar. That's amazing. Lyria floated silently for a moment before speaking. Ethan, your uncle trusted you because he saw something in humans: resourcefulness, determination, and moral integrity. You have proven that humans are capable of remarkable things. Ethan felt a sense of pride, but also humility. He was still learning, still growing. The universe was vast and challenges would continue to come. But he knew one thing for certain: he was not alone. Together with Lyria and Zephyra, he could face whatever the cosmos presented. Months passed, and the station became a hub of interstellar cooperation. Delegates from neighboring systems visited, learning from Ethan's methods and the collaborative model he developed with his companions. Humans began to gain a reputation for ingenuity and ethical decision-making, slowly earning respect across multiple star systems. Ethan never forgot the lessons he learned in those first weeks. Trust, cooperation, and the courage to act intelligently were more valuable than any wealth. He had inherited a fortune, yes, but the true inheritance was the opportunity to demonstrate humanity's potential, to show that even a single human, when guided by principles and aided by extraordinary allies, could change the course of events in the galaxy. One evening, as Ethan, Lyria, and Zephyra watched a distant nebula glow in brilliant colors, Ethan reflected on how far he had come. "I used to think being human was ordinary," he said quietly. "But now I see, it's not the size of our bodies or the technology we possess. It's our mind, our courage, and our choices that make us extraordinary." Lyria smiled, her eyes shimmering. "And your choices have shown that humans can inspire trust and cooperation across galaxies." Zephyra floated close, her wings brushing Ethan gently. "I think we make a good team. And the universe, it's just beginning to see what humans can do." Ethan laughed softly, feeling a sense of fulfillment he had never known. He was no longer just an ordinary young man from Earth. He was a guardian, a leader, and a bridge between worlds. Humanity had found a place in the galaxy, not through conquest, but through intelligence, courage, and heart. As the stars twinkled beyond the station's observation windows, Ethan realized that this was only the beginning. There were countless worlds to explore, alliances to build, and challenges to face. But he was ready. With Lyria and Zephyra by his side, and with the ingenuity that had saved them all, he knew humanity could rise to any challenge the cosmos presented. And in that moment, Ethan smiled, feeling the full weight and wonder of his inheritance. It was more than wealth, more than companions, more than a station in orbit. It was the chance to prove that humans could shine in the vast universe, clever, resourceful, and capable of greatness beyond imagination.